Hello. So it's been a while. I've been so busy, I haven't been prioritizing the free YouTube videos. I would love to make more of them. I'm just either at work or doing Patreon work or commissions. But I've also noticed, because I've been so focused on those things, I haven't even been doing warm-up sketches at all, which isn't something I really do much anyway, but I've lately been noticing that it's kind of a big deal. I always feel really shaky. And I'll jump right into trying to do finished pieces. And it just doesn't work. So like I'll open up a drawing that I've been working on, and it'll be like in the line art phase or something, and right away I'll be like trying to do super smooth, nice lines. No worky. And then I just get frustrated, which doesn't help at all. I don't know what this is. It was actually going to be a nose, and then the upper lip. But I did the upper lip really strange, so I turned it into this thingy over here. I haven't really been practicing at all. I don't just draw anymore. I don't look at my stuff and think about what's wrong with it and practice and fix things and improve. Ooh. Not that I don't think I need to, it just takes so much time to do all that. But I've been planning out a comic manga type thing. I don't want to call it a manga anymore. I don't really know what's official style the art is going to be. If you're thinking that manga is a style. I just noticed the manga official manga style as we think of it in the US or in the Western culture is very specific, and it's really really time consuming. You can't really just draw something kind of sketch it out, maybe give it some thick lines and some shading, and call it good, call it a graphic novel. It's a lot of time and detail, and was looking at the art from what's it called? Valerian something or other, because I know it's the movie coming out soon, and I know it's based on a graphic novel, and I wanted to look at the art because I've never read it, and I love the art style because it's kind of not sketchy, but a little bit, looser kind of line work, inking style. With some colors. I don't know. I just really like it. I can't explain it right now. I'm not even paying attention to what I'm saying. I mean, obviously the characters I'm gonna draw are gonna be in the, Japanese manga style. But I might try to go for more of a loosey-goosey effect. Just to kind of have more fun with it. I was sketching out the page that I sketched out so far, just on my lunch break at work. And I was drawing it really quickly. I didn't plan it. I was just drawing this character kind of sitting, and then I just decided, like, oh, they'll have a thing, like a scarf thing, and this helmet on, and kind of big bug-eyed goggles, and like initially just designing it, but because I was using pen and I never really sketch in pen. Well, let me rephrase that. I've been sketching in pen lately, but not on anything of importance, and so I don't know, I was just doing a little bit better, taking my time a little more, but still working fast enough to kind of be free to decide things quickly. This isn't really what it looked like. I don't even remember what it looked like. I don't even remember what I was talking about, why I was saying this. Oh, it just had a good look, just kind of like a sketchier pen look. But once you get the sketch down, then you kind of go over the outside like this, like I did over here, in a thicker line. It kind of solidifies it, and even though it's super sketchy, it really starts to look kind of decent. And it was just more fun, it was easier. I wasn't stressing about it. I was stressing about other things because I was at work. But I enjoyed the outcome. I was watching recently someone on Instagram. I think his name's in like Spanish or something. Hopefully by the time I actually post this, I'll have taken the time to look him up. But he really posts, on Instagram at least, he just kind of posts like time-lapse, quick little time-lapse of ballpoint pen drawings. He'll do like knights or dragons, and it just looks really good with his style of drawing using the pen. And he did these little panels that he showed in a sketchbook, just like on the page of the sketchbook, just a little sketchbook. He was just like, I don't know if he was just practicing panels, but here he had like some panels showing whatever rock formation, some mountains or whatever it was, and it looked really cool. And then like 2 days later, when I was sketching at work, I just remembered that, and I thought, hey, I'll just try sketching some panels in my sketchbook, and it worked pretty well. I'm not quite good enough, in my opinion, to do work as good as I think that day, the work I did in that sketchbook, that was pretty good for me. So I haven't I haven't tried to do any more because I'm too scared that it'll be, subpar, not as good as that day. It was like just beginner's luck, basically, because that's not even something I do, is sketch and pen, especially like that in that style. There was like landscape and scenery and such. And like this kind of stuff, I never draw this kind of stuff. I mean, I would love to get into the kind of futuristic art that you would see in Destiny. Not like exactly like that, but I just picture you have a ship. Let's not do a ship. I can't draw ships. I'm not even gonna attempt. So you have a helmet, right? I just picture like a cool looking helmet. I don't know what kind of helmet this is. When I say cool looking helmet, of course I mean something designed by someone who can draw cool helmets. But for the sake of time, I won't stop and try to actually plan out a cool helmet, because I never draw this stuff. I have no idea. I've not studied the shapes that make a helmet cool. But anyway, regret. So you have a helmet. Whatever details it has as far as actual structure go are in place. And then they'll do, first off, the way they do like kind of weathering. So this part that I'm putting in right now, this would be, like on a whitish helmet. This would be like orange, some sort of orange. Oh gosh, no. Maybe even some more of it elsewhere in various shapes. You bored yet? You even know what I'm talking about anymore? But anyway, so they'll have like the white with the shapes and then some letters and numbers. These aren't even real letters or numbers anymore, but it's just like if people know what I'm talking about, I applaud you for even following along up to this point. But it's like, it's not even just Destiny, it's very common in just futuristic drawings where they give it these colored shapes, and then they give the colored shapes kind of a weathered look along with the rest of it. It just looks really good to me. Maybe there's even a name for it and I'm just new to everything, don't know, but I thoroughly enjoy it. It's like just one of my favorite looks, and it really makes me want to branch out of, you know, doing so much just anime art. Not necessarily that. I would say more of a, I want to kind of say do better anime art. Maybe even combine this, the futuristic stuff that you would see in Halo, or not Halo, Destiny, excuse me. All you Destiny, Halo people out there are going to be upset about that one. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, the comic thing that I started working on actually is going to be that style, hopefully, you know. I might do color instead of just black and white. Manga obviously is traditionally black and white. Western comics are not. They use lots of color. I don't really want to use as much color as they would, but I'm not certain I want it to be black and white. I'm just scared of trying it, you know. In case you can't tell from this experiment right now, you know, I really don't know what I'm doing, how to create that style of art. You know, I'd say a lot of it is like just making stuff up. I actually was watching Mark Curley's newest video series. He did all real time. And he was drawing a ship, not a ship, a little speeder bike, you know, the girl on it, she's sitting. And that's a speeder bike right there. And he touched on the idea of like creating stuff like that just from imagination, and that's my greatest struggle in doing especially doing a futuristic style comic, is, I mean, like, even just look at this helmet. So obviously it has to have some sort of eyes. Character has to be able to see. I didn't want it to be too super futuristic like this. Just because, I don't know, didn't plan it out. End of story. Maybe there's other people with fancy stuff. We haven't even gotten that far in planning yet. But my problem is, you get to a part where I kind of get an overall shape, right, of a helmet in, just like this one. I really don't know, like, first of all, what goes on a helmet? You think, okay, necessities of a helmet are going to be that it's head-shaped enough that a head could fit in it, right? And that it is recognizable as a head. And then, round 2, you give it some form of eye cutout, which serves as the function of the character seeing out of their helmet, but also showing the face. It's recognizable as the face of the character. I bet I'm making stuff up right now. That sounds like some artsy stuff people would talk about, where the helmet has to have its own face so it's recognizable and relatable, something. But maybe that's a thing that you would take into account when designing a helmet, right? But then what? What else does it really need? If it's a futuristic helmet, every other function that it could possibly have can easily be said to be inside the helmet. So, a helmet doesn't necessarily need ears. Do you give it some form of ear-like structure, something on the side like this, where it's just you're gonna say like, oh, that's where the ear piece goes. That's where I don't know what it's called. The thing where the sound goes in to the mechanical ear of the helmet, and then you hear it, right? You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, how do you design that? Because, like I said, that can be inside the helmet. So then, how do you put it on the outside? And maybe you don't. Maybe it's super simple design, and maybe you love that, and it's perfect and good for you. But I kind of want more detail than that in my helmet design. It's just really hard for me to make stuff up like that, because it has to be like a combination of aesthetic detail, with like literally just for the looks, and functionality. Whenever I try to design outfits or anything of any sort, I try to start with, okay, what is the things that you would need on this for it to function, and that's pretty much where I just start drawing blanks after that. I'm honestly doing better right now than I even thought I would, and you might think this is a pretty lame helmet design. And it's honestly not what I would be going for on my character. I would want to be more humble looking. This is certainly not threatening by any means. It's a super loose sketch. Obviously looks kind of silly, big bug eyes. I don't even know. I'm sure you're probably thinking of, oh, that looks like this, and you stole that idea. I don't even know where I got this, but I know that this same look has been done a million times, but I kind of like it. It's like a way I can kind of combine some designy elements here, like these shapes. This is kind of the gas mask type thing here. That certainly gives it a unique facial look all the time. But then what? I'm done. I don't know what else to put on it. It's futuristic enough, of course, that we don't need antennae, whatever, to say like, oh, well, that's where it outputs and inputs signal into the person's helmet, because we've certainly figured that out by now, how not to use antenna of that nature. They're hidden throughout, and maybe I could do that, kind of like how the smartphones these days have these kind of metal trimmings around them that really do just look like design elements, but they're actually the antenna, and I think that's really cool. I could yoink that idea, just in the sense of that sounds like a super efficient way to do it. Maybe my smarter friend who is helping me, it's actually two of them helping me with ideas for this, maybe they'll think of something way better than that for everything, all the forms of design. But when they're not around, I'm left with my super uncreative brain. I don't even like this anymore. I feel like maybe I've added too much in the wrong spots, and it's kind of ruining it. Or maybe I should stop right here, but I just don't know if it's good enough. And then, of course, the big problem, the huge problem with me would be right now, say I'm done, and I have to design the rest of this guy, the rest of this outfit. Maybe this is the, galactic Federation. This is hard for me. Galactic Federation crime unit. Why not? So there'll be a bunch of these guys, and maybe on the back it has his number, because surely they're robots or clones. Maybe this guy is number, who knows what number. There's more number on the other side of the helmet. Anyway, that's not the point. I can't think of what the rest of his outfit might look like. When you say like, okay, so if this is a person, from the helmet down, you have to have some form of neck. Obviously, people have necks, even in the future. You know, say this guy's pretty buff, so he's got a thick ass neck. What is on the neck? And this is where you're like, oh well, you know, don't be so lazy, just go like research, you know, futuristic armor. Look at Halo and Destiny and look at what they have on the neck. Maybe it's like a accordion style for maximum movement, but then what if that looks stupid? Right, so then what's your other option? What do you have covering the neck so that it's functional in terms of the neck having full movement? It has to be a good enough material that obviously can go into space, not worry about breaking. It has to connect to either the rest of like an underbody suit that you don't see that kind of keeps going, or it has to connect to the rest of the armor, which would be like the shoulder plates and maybe the chest plate, stuff like that. I've designed this much of the helmet, and now I struggle to even begin designing the rest of it. Which is why if I draw, say, if I want to draw a house or a building, my lack of creativity comes into play again, so I have to draw a super generic structure, right? That didn't take any time, effort, mental struggle. And then from here, this is where I try to just add more something. Like, okay, well maybe there's a taller structure connected on the side. Maybe it's even way bigger than that initial hut. I'm not trying to worry about perspective. You know, right? So already this is obviously more interesting, arguably, than just this. You know, and then, like, what else would you have? You know, maybe coming off of this side, connecting to over here. Why not? You have another section. Holy moly. Right? So the idea here is to build the entire structure. This is a silly design, but you'll get the idea. You know, perhaps it has these window thingies. So you build the whole structure, right? And then once you're happy with your overall contour, if you will, you know, like a lot of times artists will mention the silhouette of a character drawing, you know, has to be good enough where you can really tell what's happening in the event that it was just black, only the silhouette. But also that's how you tell if it's like an interesting, you know, pose and composition and everything. So you get your house to where it has a much more interesting silhouette than either that character or this house. But then you go and you're like, okay, well, maybe this one has a door, maybe this one has a door. So there's two doors. Buildings need doors so people can enter. Okay, next you have windows beyond these ones up here. you know, and then you add trim, because houses have trim. Well, not anymore, I guess. These modern houses. You know, you just keep adding details like that, right? So what I've done here is I've only drawn the helmet, then I've added details, and now I have to somehow figure out how does the rest of the armor look so that it matches the style of this helmet. So should I in fact draw the whole figure with armor first? You know, there's my little figure here. And like design it out in stages like that, because I really don't like doing that. It's not as fun as just drawing like this. But obviously I can't handle, honestly I don't think I can handle either of them, either way. But that is my struggle. Let's give this guy some manliness. For some reason when I do shading like that, it starts to look less like shading and more like weird things. Weird hair. Weird stuff. Anyway. Well, I guess this could be another Drawphlosophy. I was just going to do warm-up. I think every time I try to do warm-up sketches and film it, it turns into a Drawphlosophy, because I just can't stop running my mouth. I feel like I'm just complaining about my personal drawing struggle, and that deems it fit to be Drawphlosophy. What do you think of that? A little cutout or not? I don't know. I don't like it either way, so then I don't know how to fix that problem. If both options look bad, what do I do? Anyway, I guess that is all for today. I feel like I'm warmed up enough. Thanks everyone for watching yet another glorious Drawphlosophy.